everybody, Louise Plant here with my 144 topics. And I look like I've been cut shaving. I have my daughter's cat, Kitten, who's been staying with us, and we haven't quite decided if it's a weapon or it's a cat. But anyway, she likes to jump on my desk while I'm writing and typing and eat me. He. So yeah. It looks like I've cut myself shaving. Anyway, my topic for this week is all about polarity. And I really wanted to bring this topic in because having spoken about the essence of the masculine and the essence of the feminine, I was really sort of lining up the whole polarity discussion because we were talking about, getting into that masculine presence and getting into that feminine presence. And that really is the very end of, that's getting into the end of the poles when it comes to polarity. So we'll just go back a step and really talk about what is polarity. So, in chemistry, it has its different meanings, though, it often talks about having opposites within each other. And the easiest way an example of this really is talking about the positive and the negative with the polarity. So we have a positive charge and we have a negative charge. And basically everything in our body is electrical charges that are happening all the time, nerve impulses that move through the body, things opening and closing, things moving, like every sort of mechanism of movement, which is one thing about us as humans or living organisms, is the fact that we move. Once we croak and we pass on, there's not much moving happening there, but we're full of electrical charges, but we're also full of magnetic charges. And there's been a lot more research done about the electrical side of things, but not so much about the magnetic, but that is opening and that's coming because that can be, more sort of vibrational stuff. Anyway, so we have these positive and negative charges that are happening all through us. There are different healing modalities that talk about, that when they talk about energy running through the body, meridian lines or, different poles of things having different positive and negative charges. It's very much the case, when we even talk about our brains wiring, there's going to be a left and a right, a positive and a negative. So it's really around us everywhere. And we live in a world of duality. So part of the High Laws series that I put together really talks about duality. So Law 2 is all about duality and the fact that we live in a world of duality. So we have male and female, we have black and white, we have day, night, we have left and right, like everything has its polarity and everything has its duality. So we can't really have one without the other. Having said that, everything within that pole or within that polarity is as one, is the same in some ways to a different degree. It's the same, but opposing forces is basically what it is. So, if you pick up the stick in regards to charge, it's going to be positive and it's going to be negative. So part of the thing about polarity that really excites me and that I like is knowing that the more that you can be aware of the polarity, the more you can actually sort of use it to your advantage. So we'll just equate that to, basically manifesting or creating or drawing what it is into your life. So most of my life, I spent myself running around chasing things, and even now to some extent, I'm always pulling myself up and saying, okay, stop running around, stop chasing things, just be that polarity, just be that vibration that you want to be. Because the stronger that you are with your polarity, so the stronger, say, that I am with that negative charge, the stronger it's going to draw the positive charge to you. And this is, the first book that I'm going through the publishing at the moment, the Confessions of a Frustrated Businesswoman, was me journaling that and actually going through that and actually seeing the fact that every time that I polarized myself into a space of being connected, of being in my feminine essence, of being grounded, of being happy, of feeling good, then I was then actually drawing things into me. So it gets to a point when you start working with polarity that the more you just be you in a good space and in a happy space, the more things will draw to you, and the basically easier it becomes. So one of the pains in people's lives about not living with polarity or having an understanding of polarity, and my life was like this for a long time, was the fact that my life was a roller coaster. So it was up and down and up and down, you know, and to some extent there still is that up and down, because after all, I'm a woman and we have flow and we have moods and we have different ways of being, and we can change in the flash of an instant. Okay, so we are instability when it comes to that type of flow, but it was more intense, it was more extreme, and it's like up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So the more I'm learning about polarity, the more I'm understanding with it, the more I'm using it to my advantage. It's almost like I'm not having to work so hard to have what I want to have in my life. The most important thing for me to do is to look at being in that polarity and feeling that and connecting to that and having that in my life. So I've done other videos talking about presence, I've talked about dropping in, I've talked about, you know, showed you ways of being aligned. So all that is very much part of the practices and the work that you do to have yourself being in that space of being polarized. Because when we're polarized, then we are aligned, we are centered, and we are emanating that magnetic, positive or negative, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. We're emanating that charge and that presence, which is then drawing things to us. So you know, really the crux of the whole thing is to be first aware of the polarity and know that there is that point. You know, there is a point when we go from black to white, you know, and there is a grey in the middle there, but there is an individual perception of when we see it coming from one to the other, and that is a very individual thing, and we can change that perception if we so choose. So if you can become aware of the poles, you can become aware of the positive and negative, and become aware of the duality. You know, as I've mentioned with the masculine and feminine essence, the more I embrace and step into that feminine side, the more that then reflects what I'm attracting into my life. So, you know, I've done feminine practices, and when I've done them, I've actually had partners turn around to me and say, look, I don't like the changes in you, when I've loved the changes in me, because what's happened is I've changed my polarity, and I've moved my polarity away from where I was to a different space. And of course, you know, there is you know, the charge and the attraction has actually changed. So if you find that your life is sort of in a space where you can sort of be quite up and down, then the aim to be helping with that is really to start learning about having some sort of balance and having some sense of being centered and being calm, and not go through life chasing things around, and bringing that more to you. And we really are moving into a realm of different dimensional being and expression. So, you know, we're no longer sort of so much in a three-dimensional space. We're moving more into a fifth, sixth dimensional space. So this is becoming more and more prominent and more prevalent. So the more that you can actually start to be polarized within yourself, the easier life's going to become for you. Because, you know, what we think, what we feel, what we're putting out is really bouncing back to us pretty fast now. And, you know, having that sense of awareness, you can go, oh, I think I just created that little drama in my life. So the way to sort of help that is to be centered and balanced. So I'm always happy to help you with that. You know, we can't get away from duality. It is one of our natural laws. That's why I discuss it in my higher laws. If you wanted to check out my higher laws website, www.thehigherlaws.com, and, you know, I talk and explore about the laws there and basically about what they mean, because Earth is a place of duality. At this time, that's just the way it is. So there's no sort of getting away from that. It is a natural law. That is the way it is. But you can use that to your advantage. And the best way to use that to your advantage is to be polarized and to allow yourself to draw it to you. So, yep, you're not running around chasing, you let it come to you, and more so for us as women. Alright, so until next time, I'm always seeing you in happiness and in health. If you want to find out more about me, go to louiseplant.com.au. Happy to spend some time with you and connect with you. Otherwise, I'm seeing you always in happiness and health. Until then, you take care of yourself and be happy and polarized. Okay, see you, bye.